One of the world's most famous museums is a crime scene. Priceless jewels were stolen from the Louvre in a brazen robbery in broad daylight.
To be completely honest, this operation lasted almost 4 minutes. It was very quick. We have to say that these are professionals. Organised crime today targets objects of art, and museums of course become targets.
It's believed the thieves used a furniture elevator to access the upper levels from outside the building. They then used power tools to break in. It happened shortly after the museum opened, and just 800 meters from the Paris police headquarters. Their target was the Apollon Gallery, home to a host of national treasures, including France's crown jewels. Also displayed there, artifacts belonging to the Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte.
It's one of the most guarded buildings in Paris, which makes it one of the most guarded buildings in France and in the world. So it does come as a big surprise to the world. To those paying attention in France, it's also part of a larger chain of break-ins in French museums in the past couple of months.
An investigation is underway, and police are searching for the thieves. Earlier this year, the Louvre asked the government to fund renovation aimed at increasing security at the museum. And after this daring heist, those calls are only likely to grow louder. Fintan Monaghan, Al Jazeera.
Let me introduce to you Anthony Amore, who's an art theft and museum security expert who has spent 20 years investigating art heists. He's also the author of an upcoming book, The Rembrandt Heist. He joins us from Boston. Anthony, thanks for your time. This story has captivated the newsroom here in Doha. I mean, the police reports are extraordinary. We're not talking about a small museum in a provincial backwater. We're talking about the Louvre, home to the world's most valuable collections. Nevertheless, police said that an unknown number of thieves arrived on scooters, armed with chainsaws, disc cutters, and gained access to the jewels via a furniture elevator propped up against a second-floor balcony, all within 4 minutes in the middle of the day. How is that possible?
Well, it's interesting the way you phrase that, because most people would think it would be a backwoods museum that would be attacked. But the bigger the target, the more likely it is that thieves will target it. So it makes perverse sense, I guess, that thieves would try to hit the Louvre where these priceless items are located.
And what about the items specifically taken? We're talking about Napoleonic era jewels. Talk us through their significance and their value.
Well, the significance speaks for itself, really. As soon as you hear that they belong to Napoleon or Napoleon's wife, or that they're crown jewels, everybody can get a mental image, even if you've never seen them, about how beautiful they are and how valuable they are, not just in terms of dollars, but in terms of cultural patrimony. However, they're especially dangerous in the sense that thieves can break these things up and sell individual gems. And, the value of each piece sold separately would be more than the value of the piece if it was sold as a whole. So it's very, very concerning when you see jewels go missing. It's not like stealing a masterpiece where instantly news media such as your own would publicize this image. You might see pieces like this broken up and then individual jewels sold that are indistinguishable to the members of the public.
And when it comes to jewels of this age, is it possible to track them down individually if indeed, as you suspect, the jewellery, the complete items are potentially broken up and distributed?
Yeah, I would say potentially broken up. We don't know for sure, but yeah, they're very difficult to track down. Again, they're not, a single jewel, let's say a single emerald from one of the crowns. It might be large, it might raise some suspicion, but there would be smaller pieces, and it's very difficult for someone to look at one and say, boy, this diamond looks like it came from a piece from the Louvre. That's unlikely, so I'm very concerned about the pieces. That being said, I think that the authorities have some good clues to follow up on that might lead them to the thieves.
Anthony, I think it's fair to call you something of a Sherlock Holmes when it comes to stolen art. I mean, please try and put us in the mindset of a criminal mastermind who may have commissioned a theft like this.
Well, it's interesting the way you said that. It's a great question, because there may be a criminal mastermind, but it's not some Dr. No figure, some evil billionaire set up in his lair somewhere who commissioned this theft. It would probably be a gang leader who sent some of his people, if he didn't go himself with them, to target this sort of score. These people that stole these gems are career criminals, without a doubt. This is definitely not their first crime. They pulled it off with some level of professionalism and acumen, not in terms of having robbed museums before, but having robbed before. So these people are most likely known to the police. I think the first step as an investigator would be to look at the truck and the lift and the ladder that were left behind for forensic evidence, and to track exactly what region they came from and maybe focus in on gangs that work there.
We know that Louvre has had to close its doors for the first time in many years. I mean, it's only really closed its doors during wars, during the COVID pandemic, during recent strikes. I mean, this is pretty much unprecedented. I mean, many workers that went on strike said that the museum was crumbling under the weight of so many tourists going through it on a regular basis. Was there a lapse in security here, do you think, that was behind all of this?
Well, it's difficult to say at this early stage. I'd say that, there is no place in the world that's impenetrable. There's no such thing as 100% security at any institution of any sort. So I can't really point my fingers at the Louvre and say they did something wrong or they were irresponsible. It's that these thieves had a good plan, unfortunately. And it's my understanding, I have not seen it, but it's my understanding that there's some restoration going on in the Louvre, and that can add some level of vulnerability because of maybe contractors coming in or out. Again, that's speculation. But these thieves had a good plan, and they were very quick, though the time period of the theft, 4 to 7 minutes, fits inside the profile that I've established of museum heist, which is between 3 and 9 minutes. So that is pretty ordinary, for lack of a better term.
Well, I think it's fair to say, Anthony, that a case is very much afoot. Anthony Amore there, many thanks.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.